Hi, I'm Rick with PLP Battery Supply, and today we're going to talk about how to rebuild an associated style rectifier, something that's on one of these kind of heatsink plates, and rebuild it with one of our 696-610 rectifier rebuild kits. So I just want to point out that if you have an old rectifier out of a charger that you need to rebuild, it's associated style, everything that you need to turn this into a rectifier is in this kit except for the plate. So if you have your old rectifier plate, you take it out, make sure it's good and clean. You might want to take a wire brush and clean out where the little divots are, the depressions where the where the button diodes actually sit in there. Some of these older rectifiers don't actually have the depressions. They used a like a fiberglass ring kind of a deal that held the diodes in position, but most of them you're going to encounter have got the depressions. Again, just make sure that they're cleaned out, that they've got all of the debris, and a lot of times there's scorch marks and stuff where these diodes have, where the rectifiers failed and burned through the spokes on the contactor and all. It can just be kind of a mess. Just make sure you clean that all off so you get down to a good contact, good clean metal contact surface. And that's all you have to do. Then that thing's ready to go. Then the rest of it is what you're going to find in here. And that's just the all the diodes, all the nuts, bolts, washers, spacers. We put an instruction sheet in there. We use some thermal grease. Pretty much everything you need. And while I'm doing this, I'll also point out, I don't know if we have it in the shot or not, the only thing that you need to do this job is a couple of 7/16 wrenches or a 7/16 wrench and a 7/16 ratchet, your choice, whatever you have handy. Ratchet makes it a little bit faster. The instruction sheet, I'm going to point this out to you. The instruction sheet has a really nice axial diagram on the back side. It's got a whole bunch of words on the front side. I know that, we're dudes and we don't like words. So let's look at pictures. It's got a really good exploded view of how this thing goes together. So if you have any questions whenever you're doing it, you lose your place or something, you can always refer to this and it'll put you back on track. So the heart and soul of one of these kits is the diodes, the button diodes. That's the part that actually does the magic. So we'll open those up and get them out, and they'll probably go everywhere. The kit comes with 20 diodes, even though a lot of the rectifiers that you're going to rebuild might only have 12 or even 8. There's some that have, Associated builds these with up to 20. There's 20 will fit on each, or 10 on each side, so a total of 20. But some of their more common rectifiers that go in chargers like 6009s and 6006s and things like that, they only have 6 on each side, so they've got 12. In that case, you're just going to have extra diodes. Don't worry about it. Keep them for spares. And we've got the O-rings. And the O-rings are to provide, if you've taken your old one apart, you've seen what they do. They provide the compression that holds the diodes firmly against the plate. Then you've got the caps and the spoked diode contactors. The caps are what hold everything down once you put the bolt through, start tightening it up. And these little guys are actually a sacrificial part. It's think of it as like a fuse. Where this thing gets very thin right here at the base of the spoke, that's what burns through. And if you've taken your old one apart, you know exactly what I'm talking about. These things whenever you take that rectifier, the old rectifier, out of your charger, these things usually come out as bits and pieces because they have had a bad day. And the reason they've had a bad day, as long as I'm opening this stuff up, I'll talk about it. The reason these things fail 9 times, probably 99 times out of 100, is because somebody, I'm not saying it's you, but somebody has used the charger to try and jump start a vehicle, and they have just laid on that starter with the charger hooked up, and they just keep cranking and cranking and cranking and cranking and cranking. And what happens is this is the first part of the charger that'll fail. Even though they have a circuit breaker in them, frequently these things will start blowing before the circuit breaker will trip out. So I'm just saying, the reason we have to rebuild these is because probably somebody used it to boost start a vehicle and they used it for too long. If you look at the duty cycle, if you ever read the fine print, either in the owner's manual, the operator's guide, or even on the front of the charger, it'll say on there that you're supposed to, it varies from one charger to the next, but it's not uncommon for it to say the duty cycle is 5 seconds on and 5 minutes off, or 100 seconds off, or 200 seconds off. So they want you to literally crank for 5 seconds and then give it a 5-minute rest before you crank anymore. And I think we all know that that doesn't happen very often. So anyway, we've got all the hardware here, the nuts and bolts we need. We've got the spacers, washers and things that we need. And now we will get to work putting this thing together. And I would also want to point out that I've got this is a resistor kit that does not come with the rebuild kit, but you might need one if you have an associated charger that has a stop and go light in the clamp. That's what this does. It allows that to work. So may or may not need that. Typically you can reuse the old one. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and get started putting this thing together. The first thing that we need to point out is on these little button diodes, I don't know the best way to show you this, there is a painted ring around the contact on one side. In this case, it's silver. And then on the other side, there's not one. The first thing to do whenever you start assembling one of these things is you put your bolts through. In this case, I'm just going to do both of them at the same time. So you put a flat washer under the head of each of the bolts. There's 2 bolts, and then you put the shoulder washer on. It's a nylon insulated shoulder washer. So you've got that little assembly looking like that. And then you go through from the back side. Again, you want to keep as you're working on this thing, you want to keep the little indentations facing up because you're going to be setting the diodes in there. So we put that much of it together like that. So we've got the bolts sticking up through there. And then the best thing to do next is to go ahead and put this washer. You put one more flat washer on. And then just so you know, the next thing we're going to stack on top of there is going to be the little spoked contactor. But before we do that, let's go ahead and put all of our diodes on. And when you're putting these diodes on the plate, they want to be cathode down, so the painted ring goes down. And just bear with me, this takes a minute or so to put all these guys on here. But put them in there. Oh, and you know, some people try to do this while the rectifier is still mounted in the charger, and that's impossible. And you figure it out pretty quickly because these rectifier plates are mounted in there on their edge vertically. There's just no way to get all this stuff in there and get it to sit tight, stay in position while you're tightening everything up and trying to make it right. So if you have one of these that has only 6 diodes in it, or something less than a full pack of 10, the way that you do those, I'll just show you this kind of as we're going. You need to space them out, and the way that Associated does it and the way that we recommend is you put, because if you, you don't get even spacing for 6. So this is the best way to do it. Put 2 together and then put 1 opposite each other for 6. That way you've got some space. And what that does is it allows it to spread out the cooling. Because the primary function of this, it's 2 functions, of this plate is to carry the current to the output cable and also to dissipate heat. Because there's a lot of heat that's generated in these diodes. And now, speaking of heat, we're going to talk about this stuff real quick. This is thermal grease, and it's actually got a little notch. We send you 2 packs of this stuff. So this is how the diodes go in, but what you really want to do, I'm just going to back out here, is you want to put a little daub of the thermal grease in each one of these pockets and then set the diodes in there. And we send you 2 packets of this stuff, 1 for each side. Doesn't mean you have to use it all up, but you need to use some. And the reason you want to use this is because, especially on a rectifier that's been in service before, the surfaces have got imperfections and pitting, and you're just never going to be able to get it as smooth as it is when it's new. When they're brand new, you don't bother doing this. Like they don't do it from the factory, we don't do it in our new ones either. But whenever you rebuild one, you should. And the reason is, what the thermal grease does is it fills in all those little, I want to say microscopic, maybe a little bit larger than that, but all those little gaps between the surfaces on the diode and the surface on the plate, and it allows the heat to transfer that would normally build up and be concentrated at the contact points, you know, the actual points of contact where the surfaces touch each other. So it is, and it's non-conductive, but you don't have to worry about it insulating the diode from the plate. Once you tighten everything down, there is plenty of pressure to push those surfaces against each other, and they will make contact. You don't have to worry about them, you know, preventing the thing, acting as an insulator and preventing the thing from making contact. There's just not enough, it's not going to be loose enough for that to happen. Because once you tighten the contactor plate down and the cap down, believe me, they're all the metal's touching. So all these guys back in here. And believe me, this is the most tedious bit of the whole operation. After this, it's all downhill. So you get those guys all in there and you get them kind of seated so they're sitting flat. You don't have to worry about if you get some thermal grease where it's not supposed to go, doesn't matter. And then you're going to put one of the spoked contactors on either side. Doesn't matter which way's up. You want to center them over the diodes. So you've got that there, and then what you're going to do is you're going to put another washer on top of that contactor. So it has, if you think about it, or you look at it, the contactor has a washer below it and a washer above it. And that's important because that's what properly spaces everything out so that whenever you tighten everything down, you cannot over tighten it. Put the O-ring on there and kind of center it, and whenever you put this cap on, because it's got an indentation, it'll help to keep it in the right position. So once the caps are on, butterfingers, once the caps are on, kind of hold everything tight, lined up, and then run the nut down. And you'll do one side and then move to the other. And then after we kind of get them just nice and finger tight, we'll put some wrenches on them. We'll check out our alignment and then put some wrenches on them and see how they look. Okay, so everything is finger tight, nothing really wants to move. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of come in here close, and we're gonna take a look at how the, I don't know what the best angle is. We're gonna take a look at how the contactors are lined up over the diodes and make sure that everything is sort of lined up where it's supposed to be. Okay, so I'm just gonna double check here to make sure that I'm satisfied with that alignment. That looks good to me. And now I'm going to cheat and use the ratchet. You want to hold that tight on the back side, and you really want to be keeping an eye on the whole assembly as you're tightening it down. Because again, if you're not careful, it can try to slip. But you just tighten it down, I don't know if you can see that or not, until it is good and snug, and that is when everything in there is nice and tight. And if you can see inside there, here, we'll show you this. You'll see that the O-ring is pretty badly squished, which is good. And in the center, along the bolt, the part that you can't see in there, the washers, the contactor plate, the spoked plate, and that nylon insulator, all of that stuff is compressed tight. There's no gaps in there, so there's no judgment involved in doing it. You're just going to tighten all that down and make sure that the spoked contactors are still lined up directly over the diodes. And that is all there is to it. And we'll go ahead and tighten the one down on the other side. If you get the thing tightened down and you find out that your contactor spokes have slipped, just loosen it up, rearrange it, take another shot at it, no big deal. And then we give you a couple of nuts to go with it, just so that you can tighten your cables, or actually this is where the transformer secondaries will attach. Get that on there, good to go. You don't need lock washers with these because they are a flanged locking nut, that's what we include. So that's what the finished assembly looks like. And that is now a fully functioning rectifier. And we will take a look here. You know what I'm going to do? Because this is a metal table, it's going to maybe mess up my measurements. So I'm going to just put it on this piece of paper. You want to test your work with a multimeter. If I can get that up. Oh, actually the stand's broke. So, there we go, that looks good. So what you've done here is you've created a rectifier that has these studs and actually the back side, those heads, which is important. You don't let that touch anything. Those studs are insulated. The stud, the cap, is insulated from the plate. And so what you want to do is you want to double check and you want to see, and you can check up here, you can check down here, it doesn't matter, any of these things. So you should have essentially an open circuit in one direction. So if you take your positive probe, put it down here, and you check all these, there's nothing flowing. If you do it the other direction, now you see that there is some resistance, but we're getting a good result. It's a nice one, actually. And what you want to do is you want to check both sides against the base, and as long as you got a good result, you're done. If you get this thing put together and you're not getting ohm reading that you expect, more likely than not, what you've done is you've maybe put one of the diodes in upside down. All it takes is one, and then you're gonna get current flow both directions. That's all there is to it, guys. That's how you rebuild one of these using our rebuild kit. And if you have any questions about that, you can call us, 800-642-3451. I'm Rick with PLP Battery Supply. Thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you next time.